governance advice. Who's in Yeah. Thank you. I now open the Governance Advisory Committee on the 14th of April at 6:45 p.m. There being an extraordinary meeting to come next, I now adjourn the Governance Advisory Committee. Thank you. I now open the public forum for the Extraordinary Council meeting on the 14th of April 2026 at 6:47 p.m. Councillor Magna, could you please read the acknowledgement? I'll then go to Councillor D'Souza with the prayer.
I'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the lands of the Bidjigal and Gadigal people of the Eora Nation who occupied the Sydney coast, being the traditional owners of this land. And on behalf of Randwick City Council, I acknowledge and pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging, and to anyone of Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander descent that may be in attendance tonight.
Thank you. Councillor D'Souza.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Almighty God, we humbly beseech you to bestow your blessings upon this council and to direct and prosper our deliberations to the advancement of your glory and the true welfare of the people of the city of Randwick and Australia. Amen.
Thank you. I will now read the chairperson's announcement. In accordance with Council's Code of Meeting Practice, I advise that this meeting is being live streamed via Council's website and a person's image and a voice may be broadcast. This live stream recording will be published on Council's website for at least 12 months after the meeting or for the balance of Council's term, whichever is the longer of the period. Attendance at the meeting is taken as consent by a person to their image and or voice being live streamed. All present should refrain from making any defamatory comments or releasing any personal information about another individual without their consent. Council accepts no liability for any damage that may result from defamatory comments made by persons attending this meeting. All liability rests with the individual who made any comments. This meeting must not be live streamed or recorded by other individuals without the prior written consent of Randwick City Council. Individuals acting in a disorderly manner can be asked by the chairperson, me, to leave the meeting. Thank you. There being no apologies or requests for leaves of absence, there being no request to attend by audio-visual link, we will go to the first speaker of the public meeting in relation to NM 25/26, notice of motion from Councillor Hamilton to extend parking meter community feedback end date. Speaking for Karen Lecue.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of community and residents that live around the beaches from La Perouse down through Maroubra, Coogee and Clovelly. We've been seeing, could you go to the next slide, thank you. We've anecdotally heard that there's lots of confusion amongst the community and lots of questions being raised that we would like to get some answers to. Some of those questions are around the resident permits, eligibility, what's the criteria. We hear there's one per household. Well, that's going to have some impact on multiple households with multiple vehicles. These days we've got adult children living at home, so lots of households do have multiple vehicles. It's also going to impact share households who are already doing it tough with astronomical rents. We've also got questions about the free permit. What are the exemptions? Are there time limits? You know, how does that really play out? And again, the impact of surrounding areas. If the parking meters go ahead, this is going to cause increased congestion in the residents that live around the beaches and push traffic into those surrounding streets. And so there's concerns about quiet enjoyment of people who live in those streets and safety issues. And then parking meter creep, you know, as it moves up into those residential streets around our beaches. You know, we're going to be having to put up with this for 365 days of the year, not just in those peak summer periods when that, you know, the traffic really and the parking is really at its major point. We're also concerned, and we want questions, want to answer questions about parking time limits, what the fees are, how free is it? So there's lots of questions that we got that need to be answered. There's the user pays systems, generally penalises low-income families and particularly share households, and it also penalises residents' family and their visitors from outside the LGA, tradesmen, carers. So, how is that going to be fair? And the other important aspect is business impact. So lots of businesses feel that this will push shoppers to free parking in large shopping centres, and the paid parking will also, those casual visitors that drop in for lunch around the beaches or for a coffee won't want to risk paying the meters and paying the fine. Can we move to the next slide? Thank you. The other issue we'd like the extension for the consultation period is that community is distracted with day-to-day life stresses, the cost of living pressures, high inflation, increased mortgage rates. The war in Iran obviously has a lot of flow-on effects there with rising petrol prices and shortages, surges in fuel, food, transport and utility costs. And, all those things are playing on people's minds at this time, and it makes it very difficult for them to have the bandwidth to consider these really important issues. And then the Easter break and the school holidays is another reason why, we feel that we need more time to grapple with the issues. And, it's largely based on these issues and the confusion around the proposal that residents feel there's insufficient detail for us to, make considered decisions about this. We've heard that there has been 10,000 responses to the survey so far, but we've also heard that the survey has been opened up to people outside the Randwick LGA, which seems quite strange that people who don't live in Randwick City would be invited to have a say on such an important issue that's going to impact residents.
There's been a request for an extension from Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Burst, of 1 minute. All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Thank you.
Yeah, so just on this issue of the number of the survey and that, it's been opened up to to people outside of Randwick. We really particularly feel that, this proposal is going to have a major impact on people who live around the beachside suburbs, all the way from La Perouse, Maroubra, Clovelly, Coogee, and it's those residents who have told us that they feel that, they need more time to consider the impact, find out a bit more information about, what the proposal entails before they can make decisions on this really critical issue. So that's why we're here today, to respectfully request that councillors support Councillor Hamilton's motion to extend the parking meter community feedback and date. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the speaker? It's a question from Councillor Martin.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McHugh, for coming in tonight. If people were given more time, what do you think they might do?
Well, I think, that time would give us an opportunity to seek some more information, some more detail about the issues that I've raised, because I think people have been quite confused about the free permit. How does that play out? Is it free for 24/7 for every resident in Randwick? Or is it free for only a certain time equivalent to the parking zone? So I think people would have made quite different decisions based on whether it's one or the other. And so I think there's just a few things that need to be ironed out before people can make really a considered decision about this proposal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? There are no further questions. Councillor Burst.
Might be a question through to the Mayor. If the survey has opened up to residents, was the survey opened up to residents outside of Randwick LGA?
My question through to the relevant officer, to the manager of, who's been promoted, manager of communications.
Thank you. Through you, Mr Mayor, the online survey is available for anybody to complete. But part of doing the surveys, we ask people to provide their address so that we're able to filter the results and analyse the results of residents and also the results of people from outside the LGA.
A question to the Speaker. Do you think this parking meter proposal in its present form would be financially positive for your household or negative for your household?
I think for my household personally, I think negative, because I have adult children who live outside Randwick LGA, so they theoretically would need to pay for parking when they came to visit, because we live near the beaches, and particularly if they wanted to visit the beach and spend some time there. And also, you know, other family members and friends. And, you know, I guess that's an issue, because if you have people over for, you know, an event at your home, they're going to be having to run out and feed the meter or risk getting a hefty parking fine.
Thank you. Are there any further questions of the Speaker? There being no further questions of the Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you.
My pleasure. There being no further speakers for this evening, I now close the public forum at 6:57 p.m. Okay, thank you, councillors. I have to reopen the extraordinary. Actually, no, I now open the extraordinary meeting. Thank you, councillors. I now open the extraordinary council meeting on the 14th of April 2026. As we have read the prayer and acknowledgement, I'll take it that has been done. Thank you, councillors. Please be seated. In relation to this particular meeting, I just remind you of the chairperson's announcement that in accordance with Council's Code of Meeting Practice, I advise that this meeting is being live streamed via Council's website. The live stream recording will be published on Council's website for at least 12 months after the meeting or for the balance of the term, whichever is the longer period. Attendance of the meeting is taken as consent for the person or their image and or voice being live streamed. All present should refrain from making defamatory comments or releasing any personal information about another individual without the consent. Council accepts no liability for any damage that may result from defamatory comments made by persons attending. This meeting must not be live streamed or recorded by others without the prior written consent of Council. For the benefit of the gallery, we're working through Code of Meeting Practice changes which have just been resulted, which means we have to open and close various meetings and we're still getting the clunks out of them. It's not that smooth just yet. There being a full house of councillors, there are no requests to attend by audio visual link. Thank you. Councillors, are there any declarations of pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest? There being no declarations, thank you. I'll now move to the only item on the agenda today, NM 25/26. Notice of motion from Councillor Hamilton, moved by Councillor Hamilton. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Burse. Councillor Hamilton.
Thank you. I think that what we've all seen as councillors are lots of emails, lots of concern raised by residents, and upon seeing the escalation in emails coming into my inbox in particular, that's what I have decided to pursue this extension. Those were the reasons, seeing so many residents emailing in, expressing concerns for the survey itself and some doubts around how they would respond based on the information that they were seeing on that paper. And more to the point, and thanks very much for the Speaker, Karen, tonight, that there's been some gaps, so we've had Easter, school holidays and that kind of thing, and it affects a lot of families, as we know. So I really do believe that this should be quite a straightforward vote tonight. I think that it would just make a lot of sense that if we gave the residents a couple more weeks, it's only 2 more weeks, it's not unheard of for us to extend consultation period. We are very pro community consultation at this council, we always have been. So I really do hope that councillors around the table here tonight hear the residents, listen to the words from the Speaker, Karen, tonight, and put aside any of their own personal thoughts or beliefs about the survey itself, and allow the residents another couple of weeks for them to deliberate and fill in the survey.
Thank you. Councillor Burst.
I support Councillor Hamilton's notice of motion. This is a big issue. It's a very big issue with potential impacts to a lot of people in a positive and a negative way. So we need to give people time to understand it, to get a grasp around the positives and negatives and whether it's a right fit for them. So extending it by till the 30th of April, it gives people just a bit more time, and we have had Easter, we have had all of these times, these school holiday periods, so people aren't here. So I think it's important that councillors and council give our community, if we're going to go to consultation, we should be making sure that we allow people to have time to think about it. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Councillor Rosenfeld.
Yeah, fully support the motion, and I echo the words of my fellow councillors that it is such a critical issue, and it really is something that will is so important that we get more and more and more time for people to respond. There has been some issues with regards to people not really understanding the full facts of what we're proposing, and it's really important for them to get a few more weeks or 2 more weeks in order to ask as many questions as possible before they fill in the survey. And for such a critical issue, I think it's really important that we extend for a couple of weeks.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? Councillor Magna.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I oppose the motion and urge my fellow councillors to not vote in support of it. But before, let me be clear that this council values community consultation very deeply. This good consultation does lead to better decision making, and the response from our community to this proposal has been, frankly, extraordinary. Very genuine, heartfelt engagement expressing a wide range of different views in our community. But community consultation must be thorough and timely. And the question is not whether we consult, but whether we've consulted adequately. And in this case, I think the facts speak for themselves. From the answer to the question on notice today, we have in our council papers that this is the largest engagement process that's ever been undertaken by council. There were over 7,000 online responses, 3,500 paper surveys, and as the speaker said tonight, there were over 10,000 responses and counting. So our previous record, as I understand it, was 7,600. So we've well and truly exceeded that. This isn't just comprehensive by our standards, it's a really impressive level of engagement by any standard. We've conducted mail-outs to 53,000 households, telephone surveys with 600 residents, beach visitor surveys, pop-up sessions at Coogee and Maroubra, briefings at all of the 7 precincts and the Chambers of Commerce. We've had materials in 5 different languages and videos that have had 19,000 views. So it's hardly any surprise that a large number of people have responded in a very enthusiastic way. And now we're being asked to change the goalposts. Consultation periods just have to have an end point. And we've told the community that it would end on the 15th of April. People organised their lives, their submissions around that deadline. Many have already submitted. What message does it send to our community that we extend it even further? Either we stick to the timeframes that we already set, that this council unanimously agreed to when we put it out for public consultation, or we're just responding to pressure from one side or the other. Neither of those options builds trust in our integrity and our governance as a institution or in a council. So let's also be honest that those that are really invested, and it's great that we've got people in our community that are invested in the welfare of our community, that care about our community. If you're invested in a community, you've already made a submission and you've consulted. We would only, by extending it, frustrate those people that have already put significant input. We would frustrate the residents that have committed to putting a submission in on time. We would raise further questions about what do deadlines even mean when we set them? They're always just a subject to future change and future pressure. And it would ultimately delay the outcome of the report coming back. And let's be clear, tonight we're not actually voting on the paid parking proposal. We're agreeing on a process that will allow us to hear the views of the community and to help them inform us making a decision about the paid parking proposal. Extending consultation doesn't give residents any more voice in the final decision. It will just delay that decision further. So the community has already spoken in unprecedented numbers. Our job is to listen to them, hear what they've said, and then not keep the survey open indefinitely. And for that reason, I urge my fellow councillors to vote against this motion tonight. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. I think Councillor, I'll hear the point of order, but
The survey is not going to be open indefinitely. There's an end date to it.
okay.
So it's important that factual information is
Thank
brought
you,
forward.
Councillor Burst. So the Code of Meeting Practice goes to the orderly running of the meeting. I believe Councillor Magna has finished his remarks. Is that correct? Yep. Thank you. Councillor Veach.
Thank you. Look, I'm very happy to support this motion. It's actually fairly standard to extend consultations. We do it all the time. You don't actually have to have a council resolution. It can just be done in a fairly straightforward manner. And so we've had extensions, for example, on the significant tree register was extended for a couple of weeks. From time to time, we get residents requesting extensions for DA exhibitions. And so that happens from time to time. And there's been various other examples, perhaps not on such big consultations, but it's a fairly standard thing to happen. People are very busy, people are on holidays, people are working. It's very easy for those deadlines to sort of rush up and before you know it, you've got a couple of hours or a day to put it in. So people have a lot of, conflicting demands, and I don't think, I'll respectfully disagree with some of Councillor Magna's remarks. I don't believe we're being disingenuous or stymieing any particular process or putting any residents out by this short extension. So I hope councillors will support it.
Thank you. Just a reminder to the public gallery that speakers will be heard in silence. Councillor Hamilton, do you wish to close the debate? Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers.
Councillors, remember this is the biggest change to the way people interact with council. It will force everyone to, every time they consider getting a parking space, to interact with council in a way they never have before. I commend the council staff for getting over 10,000 responses, but remember that is not even 10% of the population of Randwick. So let's extend this for 2 more weeks and get a bit more community feedback and make sure that we do this as best as we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hamilton.
Thank you, and thank you for the remarks from everyone. I think it's really important that we do leverage the community as much as possible. As a council, making such a big decision without really understanding exactly how they feel about it, what they want, we've had a lot of communication come out of council. I think that this is something that they do very well. The media team do a good job. They get out there with videos, they get on the web page and the newsletters and Scene Magazine, all these things. They are, a full range of tools that the council have at their fingertips so that they can get out to the community and let you know what's happening with your money. And this is what it comes down to. This is what's happening. So we've seen lots of videos from the Mayor. We've seen a lot of announcements. He's been on a current affair. We've seen, he's been on the radio. So getting out there and getting as much publicity around the parking meters as possible. And all the while, there's still not enough information. So people are still questioning, is it this, is it that, is it this street, is it this part of the beach, or is it the other part of the beach, is it all over the beach, is it up the streets, is it going to impact everyone in my street or everyone in my house? So 2 more weeks, and then I believe there's an opportunity for more engagement. I know that there's even been a lot of engagement over Facebook chats, I know the Mayor's been jumping on there and responding. So, you know, there's a definite will to try to get a message across. It's just not landing as well as it should be. So I think that's why 2 extra weeks would help.
Thank you. There being no further speakers, I'll now put the motion. All those in favour? So there's been a request for a division. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Okay, we have Councillors Hamilton, Willington, Veitch, Hay, Rosenfeld, Martin and Burst. All those against. I have Magna, Luxford, Gordon, Asghari, Wilson, Said, D'Souza and the Mayor. I declare the motion lost. Thank you. There being no further business, we will take a 5-minute break close the meeting and then we will open the Governance Advisory Committee in 5 minutes. Thank you.